Up till now, we have talked about the consumer's benefit, how they will be protected. But we have to come to that point also where standardization should take place. What exactly do you mean by standardization? In the olden days, we used to have, instead of weight, a stone. And we used to think it this way. We used to think it this way, that this stone is equal to 4 kgs, 5 kgs, whatever. Now stone or wood or any other heavy material which was used for weight, for example, used to change from place to place, from one shop to another shop also. Same is with the measurement. You might have seen that when you go and purchase the cloth, and the seller takes that 1 meter is equal to take a cloth from this point till this hand. This is 1 meter. This is what they believe. Now imagine I am doing a comparison with my hand, I am doing a comparison with you, that is the kids. Obviously your hand length is going to be small and mine will be more. In that situation, we need to have certain things standardized. Standardized in the sense that whatever you are going to purchase, it is going to remain through and through the world, not even India, same. And for that reason, we started certain institutions. Institutions who are going to cover all the major factories producing units and will guide them what should be done so that every product is equal in measurement, quality, weight, whatever you talk about. And this is the topic which we are going to cover today. In this, the very first name, Vishal out here please, first name comes out to be of ISI. One of the most common name which we have learnt about to be seen put on various products. You purchase fan, refrigerators, washing machines or this thing. They used to have this particular standardization. And this ISI, which stand for Indian Standard of Institute. So Standard Institute, that is according to Indian Standard, was started in 1947. The day we were liberated, we got independence, we had one organization which was telling the various producers to produce the certain quantities under this standard. When I say standard means the weight should be equal, the quality should be good or maintained, so and so. Since 1947 till 1986, so it is 1947 till 1986, we had been maintaining this logo, ISI. Logo is going to be important. Be sure about it. You should know what particular logo design is. Perhaps you might be coming across a question, draw ISI and label it. What do you mean by it? So you should be knowing what does a design of a BIS stand for, what is the design for ISO, what is the design for Hallmark. There are so many which we will be learning later on, but you should be memorizing it. Last year, we had seen question propping up in your board exam. निकल कर आए थे कुछ सारे क्वेश्चंस ऐसे जिनके अंदर we had the picture, you have to see the picture and give the answer. Right? So we are seeing a little shift over from the question patterns also in the board exam. Taking a clue from what has happened. We don't know it is going to come or not, but yes, we will be remaining prepared for it. तैयारी तो रखनी है. So in case they ask you to draw or design ISI or various other standard marks, please be prepared about it. We'll be doing the practice also, no doubt about it. So in 1986, this institution was renamed as BIS. So ISI, it is a brand which was continuing since our inception countries. That is 1947 and 1986 it continued. Later on, we changed the designation and the design of this institution and we started calling in 1986 onward as BIS. And BIS stands for Bureau of Indian Standard. Now, when I talk about the word bureau, this is how the pronunciation is going to be. Bureau means group. So, we are talking about various institutions under one umbrella, which is going to talk or tell the producers or the sellers about the standardization. So, whatever was being practiced in ISI, this is the same thing being practiced, but we have renamed it. Just simple as that. And the working scenario remains the same. So, what you have to remember out here is 1947 to 1986, we were having an organization called as ISI, and post 1986, we had this organization renamed as BIS. ISI stand for Indian Standard of Institute, and when we talk about the BIS, it stands for Bureau of Indian Standard. So, they are giving you a chart. In case you are in manufacturing, you will be told about this is the chart. Whenever you are going to manufacture anything, you have to put a tick. Yes, it has been checked. Yes, it has been checked. Yes, it has been checked. Now, the product will be going out for the market so that someone is going to purchase it. This is about non-consumable goods. Non-consumable which we don't eat. So, I talked about, we have got the ACs, the refrigerators, the washing machines. So, we have got ISI or BIS standard. But what about for the consumable, food grade materials? So, there is a mark which is used called as egg mark. So, number 2, we have got is egg mark. In whatever food product you are going to purchase, you are going to find this name written on the packets. And when I say packets, it doesn't really stand for the local shops. When I say local shops, I mean to say is, I have purchased one big bag of rice and I am selling it 5 kgs or 2 kgs. So I will not be using that element. But in case there is a company which is actually producing it, let us say we talk about Fortune. So Fortune is selling oil, Fortune is selling the rice and various other things. So rice and oil, at least everyone knows about it, so I am taking that example only. So what you are going to find, there will be a rhombus written on it, and in the rhombus you will find egg mark. What does it talks about? That the food grade material is sufficiently available for human consumption. Now there is something, 2 things. There are food grades. Let us talk about wheat. I have wheat which I am consuming, and in case that wheat has got some problem, fungus has grown. I don't like eating it. But I'm not going to throw it. What I'm going to do? I'm going to give it to cattle. Just rub it, clean it up, and provide it to the cattle. That means cows or buffaloes, they can also eat it. But now what you have to remember, there are certain things which is deemed fit for human consumption. And there are certain things which are not fit for human consumption, they can be given to animals. So there is animal and human. 2 grades are there in eatable things. Whatever you are eating, edible part, we can divide it into 2 broad categories. Fit for human consumption, not fit for human consumption, but it can be given to anyone. There is stale bread, bread which has got fungus. What does the mother do? Clean it up and give it to the cow. The cow is going to eat it because its digestive system is enough that it can suffice all those problems. We cannot. We will be having food poisoning. So that one bread, first of all it was human grade and then shifted on to animal grade. We call it animal grade. We don't call it cow grade. Right, Vishal? So, egg mark is going to be used, which is going to tell that various forest products like we get resins, goond aata hai. अगर आप वो पाक बनते हैं ना सर्दियों में, so in that you use something which is called as the gum, resin. You can talk with your mother, she is going to tell you about what a resin is. Boond hota hai. You fry it up, you eat it up. Honey, this is something which is a forest product. We get various flowers, those are forest products. Some are edible also. So, so this is AgMark. Now, which organization is responsible for providing you with the stamp of AgMark? Who's going to authorize you? Some organization has to be there. Who's going to say that you are running this factory, you can use AgMark? So we have to learn about that organization. So it is implemented under Agriculture Product Act 1937. This is the rule. And the organization is being run by DMI. So organization which is going to give you AgMark is DMI. What does DMI stand for? Directorate of Marketing and Intelligence. So abbreviation is going to be used. DMI. So Directorate of Marketing Intelligence. This is an institute which is there in the various governments, be it the state or the central part, under the agriculture departments. And in agriculture department, this organization is one which we are going to approach. I have got a factory running. I want to have AgMark to be used. So they are going to come check it out. In case you are fulfilling all the requirements, you can use the AgMark. If the consumer has any doubt regarding the quality of the marks, I have purchased something on which ISI or BIS mark was there. I have purchased certain thing on which AgMark was used, but I find that the quality is not good. So it can be a duplicate mark. It can be that perhaps that company is not following all the standards. It can be any problem. In that situation, you can approach, there is the regional office of the BIS. When I talk about regional office, it means certain areas are going to be covered under one organization. Let us say that I have got a BIS office in Ahmedabad. It is going to cover the requirements of Rajasthan and Gujarat. So that becomes a region. So Western region, Central region, Southern region, Southeastern region, Southwestern region, any particular region, we have got different organizations, headquarters being set up where the consumer can approach and ask for rectifications in case it is required. Is it clear? Now, since July, this July which is going on, the government of India has made it mandatory to use one particular mark on all the precious metal jewelry. When I talk about precious metal jewelry, I'm talking about is platinum, I'm talking about silver, and I'm talking about is gold. So these are three precious metals which we use for various decorative items. You know, bangles or nose pins or earrings, something like this, chains. What is this hallmark is all about? Previously it was not compulsory, but from July this 2021 we had seen it being compulsorily implemented. So now onward, any jeweler who will be selling any jewelry of precious metal. Now there are certain artificial jewelries also. We are not talking about them. They are the cheap products. Those which are very costly. Gold is there, silver is there, platinum is there. You have to see that there will be certain marking to be given. And there is a picture which is also given as 18.7 in your textbook in case you can see it. What does it talks about? This is a BIS mark and certain numbers is given. So BIS mark is there, number 1. Number 2 we can see is 916 to be written. Then I have got is some alphabet, that is J is used. This whole combination will be there in all the jewelries. Now let us decipher it, break it up. What exactly is written with all those things? BIS, Bureau of Indian Standard. Now 916, what does this means? Understand first the concept of the gold jewelry or silver jewelry or platinum jewelry. we consider that anything which is 100% pure, if I'm talking about something gold, if it is 100% pure, I will be giving it a symbol of 918, and that will be called as 24 carat. So that is the gold or silver. So we're not talking about it. So 918 in case is written, that means it is the purest form. 99.999. It will be never 100%. 99.999. So 0.001% impurity might be present, and we are telling you it will be present. It will be never 100% pure. But 918. So what does 918 takes about? That it is a 24 carat gold, silver or platinum. In case on the jewelry it is written, as the example is given, 916. What does it talk about? It is 22 carat. In case it is gold, then we have got is, that is gold is 22 carat. That means certain percentage is a mixture. That means we have made this from alloy. In chemistry you'll be learning about the alloys. Alloy is a mixture of another metal. Basically, gold is very soft. You make some rings or bangles, it is going to get crooked. Shape is going to change. So we compulsorily add certain other metal into it. Let us say we add copper or we add silver into it, so that it becomes a little hard. So we see that 916 means it is 22 carat. Now 22 carat means approximately 94% purity is there. 6% is something else which is added up. There is a hallmark, and with example there is a J. Now what does that J is given? J is the manufactured year. Say J was used for 2008. So every year we are going to find these alphabets getting changed. Single alphabet getting changed, and it is going to depict the year of manufacture. So now I have got certain sureties, plus I have got an idea when this particular thing was produced. So this is all about the hallmark certification of jewelry. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Now, there is another mark which is the FPO. So third one we got is that FPO. For processed foods. Example we talk about is the jam, the fruit, juices, squash or fruit pulps, vegetable packed in tins. Whenever you are going to find anything which is processed, the process means from raw material we have transformed into some another form. Juices. So what you have done? You have removed the pulp and only the liquid part is available. If I am talking about jams, I have used certain fruits, some sugar, some coloring agent into it, and then I have got it preserved. You know, jam is going to be there on the shelf. You can use it for a couple of months. So this is processed. Same is with the juices. The juice tin can or bottle which you are going to purchase, it is going to be fit for human consumption for 6 months, 8 months, 9 months, 12 months. So what is done? We have processed it. अगर हम इसकी जगह पर normal fruit juice निकालते हैं and keep it like this, 2 days or 3 days maximum, it starts to rot. It starts to smell. But that fruit juice which is there in the bottle, it is going to remain. You just have to remain it corked, remain there for 6 months. So what you have done? You have done some processes. So Food Process Organization, FPO, is going to let you know that there is some processing being carried out in the food product which you are eating. Then BIS, as we have just talked about, it is going to be used for the textile, chemicals, insecticides or products of rubber, cement, so many products. But these are not going to be consumed by us. We are not going to eat it. We are going to use it. So BIS certification is going to be there. Then there is wool mark. I really hope so, though, in spite of the fact we are living in a little warmer area, But in northern parts who belong to that area, in winters we tend to wear something which is warm. And usually the natural fiber which we use is the wool. We use the wool. So, to keep the body warm, we use the natural fiber obtained from the sheep. Or there are certain other animals like yak. Yak is a type of buffalo which is found in Tibetan plateau. So all the dark Leh area, upper reaches of Himalayas, you are going to find it. We use that natural fiber. Or even sometimes we have got the wool of the camel. So that is the fibers, we get it from the camels also. Their hair of camel is going to be taken, processed, make some thread, and from thread we are going to make the cloth. But in either case, what the point to remember, wool mark, which is the symbol is also given, is going to be depicting that whatever product you are using, it is natural fiber and animal fiber. Two things to add it up. So it is natural animal fiber. That is hair which we are using it. Then we have got the fifth one which is called as the MPO. So it is basically meat product. Anything derived from animal's meat, whichever meat, depending upon the type of consumption which takes place in a particular region. Certain places you have got mutton, some places you have got the chicken or egg process, whatever it is, that is going to be written over it with the symbol of MPO. So you've got that symbol to remember. And finally, we have got one of the most important one, time and again we have used it for abbreviation. It is HACCP. Hazard Analysis and Critical Control Point.